that's going to make. But the really exciting thing for the Armoured Corps at the moment is you've got new toys coming along, haven't you?
Absolutely, and as if by magic this will link on nicely, because when we do invariably break those new toys, that is a winch that is for self-recovery. So if that were to ever get stuck, it's going so it's 8-wheel drive, it's designed to get through the worst terrain. That's what it's going to use to pull itself across. Looking on top of it, you'll see the Atlas crane. Now that Atlas crane is...
And we've got some interesting guys from the REME there with them today, I gather.
Absolutely, yeah. So today, driving that vehicle, we've got Corporal Glasgow, a solid Challenger armoured repair and recovery vehicle. So for anything that can't take, this is what we're getting. And you'll see the additional ERA armour on this one. This is designed to pull out a Challenger 2 in full regalia. Available, what you'll see at the front there, primarily, and that makes the best show, is the dozer blade. They come half out of a Challenger. About 6.5 tons is what that can do. Once again, it is crewed by recovery mechanics of the REME. Being as heavily armoured as this is expected to push forward under fire.
Whilst this is a vehicle that, it sounds a daft thing to say with military vehicles, but boy does it look the part.
Absolutely, yeah. Based on the Challenger 1 hull, it's had the upgraded HM54 parts fitted to the engine. It looks aggressive, it is aggressive, it's there. That's what it does, and it is one of the best sounding vehicles I think we have. Classically, it will have a 2-person crew, the driver and the commander. One of those will be the recovery mechanic. There is room in the back for a 3rd person. There will be a different craftsman, maybe a vehicle mechanic, a technician, but there will always be 2 seats available in the rear.
Urban warfare, we're going to need dozer blades on everything to clear the path so we can go through things. So really impressive to get that extra armour that was added on. Reactive armour, explaining?
It would be, yeah. Clearly it's not ERAs travelling around here, box, yeah. But it would absolutely be reactive armour, so it gives you that protection against chemical energy. Absolutely, so this is Challenger 2 Titan armoured bridge, for an armoured vehicle launch bridge. There's a reason we just call it Titan, okay? Part of the T2 series of vehicles manned by the Royal Engineers. You've got the Titan, which is the bridge layer, and the Trojan, which you may have seen last year, which has the mine plough, the seams, all of that. This vehicle is a hugely important asset enabling us to carry on with manoeuvre warfare. That is the movement, the free movement of our forces at pace. To be able to strike with speed and precision. Evidently, it's got a big bridge on there. It is capable of carrying a number of different bridges. The one on today is a number 10 bridge. It's got
you can't cross it. You're going to need pontoons or something. And the idea of being able to deploy a bridge of this scale in the time you're going to see means your force can continue. And as we've been following what's going on in Ukraine, river lines are still being used for defence there, so we know these are going to still be very important assets to the army. Obviously, they are precious assets, so you guys are going to really have to look after these, aren't you?
Absolutely. So in an armoured battle group at this point, if this was pushing forward and there was the slightest chance that there'd be any form of resistance, this would be sandbagged in effect with a troop of tanks. So 4 tanks would be protecting this vehicle. At the end of the day, we have fewer of these than we do tanks. This is it's a high value target for the enemy. So you'd have 4 tanks physically protecting it at this point. Further away, you'd have tanks in Overwatch, which would be not necessarily looking at the bridge crossing. That's what the tanks there are doing. They're going to be looking into the far distance to ensure there's no threat coming in from further away. Now, as we see it going down, you can tell this is the number 10, okay, not just because it's that size, but it's the scissor bridge action. None of the other bridges, we've got a number 11, which is a 14.5 metre span, and a number 12, which is a 12 metre span. They're just single bridges like this. They don't flip out. Hugely important, as mentioned, manoeuvre warfare. That's what the army focuses on at the minute, and that is what the British Army is and has traditionally been very good at. We're not the biggest army in the world, but we can move very effectively. As this bridge is going down, you're going to have more reserve forces in the rear ready to push forward. Generally, that's known as the bridgehead force. It will comprise of armoured infantry in Warriors, 510s. So as soon as this bridge is down, the infantry are going to push over the bridge. They're going to push out about 500 metres to a K on the other side, set up that defence. Because they've got man-portable anti-tanks, we can set up our own anti-tank screen. We really own that. And as soon as they've gone out, the breakout force of tanks will then push over, and these will push another tactical bound over. We're creating that ring of steel, we're supporting the Titan, we're protecting it, because as soon as this is laid, this is going to disappear back, possibly pick up another bridge, or if this is secure, it'll sit close by, ready to pick up and go forward.
So taking more tanks out, while we're looking as well at the British Army is still investing in armour. It's still a crucial thing. Just think of it, First or Second World War, when air power comes in, we are interested. You know, now the drone is that new air power.
Of course, for example, let's say that bridge has been laid, but we don't want to push forward. The Jackal might then go heading forward many kilometres to scout that area out in front of us. You can easily identify this as a Jackal 2, not an original Jackal, because the gunner's ring is set slightly further back. The Jackal 1s, they are further forward. For the Jackal 2, it's set in the middle there because it allows a 360-degree range of fire. Also, you'll note jacked up suspension there. Air suspension that can raise about 18 inches.
Got an enclosed cab. Is that sense of visibility, that sense of being able to look around everywhere. And again, the speed of this, those exercises from Germany to Poland, etc. These can whip down the autobahns and suddenly appear in a place very, very quickly, and then with their off-road capabilities disappear off-road into another area.
10 days if they've got the correct fuel load. The six-wheel variant, the Coyote, of course, the Sergeant's vehicle, 10 days, 500-mile radius, operating independently, was perfect for the deserts of Mali.
So again, we're looking at now one of these vehicles. We can see it. Normally you wouldn't be able to see this, of course. We're looking at Ajax, another vehicle now just coming into service.
Yeah, so if we're thinking in terms of battle space, Jackals are out ahead, your Ajax is going to be filling that gap behind. Fresh off its debut last year, the Ajax family of vehicles. This is the Ajax, the gun variant of it, designed as a recce and strike vehicle. So not a recce vehicle, not a strike vehicle, it combines both. Doing that, it is in effect the most advanced medium armoured vehicle of its type. A massive upgrade of its cultural predecessor, as it were, which was the CVRT series. The 40mm cannon on there is capable of up to 150mm of penetration at 1,000 yards. Which is a massive increase in firepower over the 30mm cannon you'd have seen on the Ardens just. What does that mean? Well, with the advanced sensors on it, we can now spot the enemy from further away. In effect, doubles our recce standoff. We are able to see the enemy from twice as far away, and that point means we can feed the information back, or with the new cannon, the improved armament, the improved armour, we can actually push forward and engage that enemy from a lot further away. You hear something going, it can tell you the vehicle, it can tell you where it's coming from, which means you as the commander have the ability to decide the best course of action. Yes, it's big. We know that. It is a lot bigger than our traditional recce vehicles. But the soldiers aren't designed to get off this. They can stay on this. They don't need to get off onto the back decks with binoculars, advanced sighting systems, better imagery, night sights, all that kind of stuff that used to be manhandled into the Scorpion, into the Scimitar rather, is now part of this vehicle. And it sounds utterly fantastic.
And this is part of a family, so there's other variants for other roles on the battlefield.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Ajax has been relatively lucky. We weren't the first ones, but we've got some Ajax out on Salisbury Plain now. And we've also got the command variant, the Athena, the CVRT, the Spartans, the Samaritans, we're now going to have with Ajax.
So an old favourite coming on now, this is Megatron.
Absolutely, yeah. This is our baby down at ATU, so-called Megatron. All the trials, all the transformations it's gone through, we've got Megatron as a suitable name. Dressed up It's pretty much OES standard with a little bit of TES thrown in. What's there to say? It's the British Army's main battle tank, third generation main battle tank, composite armour, fully automated fire control system and a stabilised turret. Up on the top there, what you'll see is the bird table, as we call it there. That is all ECM based. Again, at the front, if you see the two antennas, this was all designed to stop IEDs. It could block out those radio signals for signal detonated ones. For those of you that were misfortunate enough to come and listen to one of my ammo talks earlier, we know it's got the rifled gun. The rifled gun is what makes it British. We've got the rifled gun because we still like firing cash.
Now, one of the things we often talk about Challenger is the levels of protection with that chopper armour and the extra armour added on. And, you know, you don't want to tempt fate, but boy, have we been lucky in the sense that we haven't lost a crewman.
Not my team directly, but yes, Challenger 3 development is well underway.
And the standard of protection on that next generation chopper armour, this fantastic British invention back in the 1960s, the new smoothbore gun, interoperability in terms of ammunition, so we can we're not alone in having to make still expensive stuff, ammunition, but you know, the fact we can now use other countries' ammunition as well in the smoothbore. But obviously Megatron has been the tank that you guys have been playing with over the years, adding absolutely everything. Most of them in service don't look like this, do they?
Absolutely, you're correct. However, every tank in service can look like this. It's just a series of add-on things. I'll pick up on your point about the ammunition interoperability. Deployed in Estonia and Opcabrit, we've been in the Baltics now for quite some time.
So one of those things, keep a watch this space, and I'm saying that for really good reasons, because armour's still big business, and this is another cracking vehicle, British vehicle, still in service at the moment, but not necessarily for the role we thought it was.
Absolutely. So for the spotters amongst you, you will notice that this is indeed not a Warrior 510. This is actually a Warrior 514, okay, which is the mechanised artillery observation vehicle. It's going to need confirmation for that artillery. So the commander's primary role in this is to command the driver. The person who would be sat in the gunner's seat is the fire controller, but you need two people to confirm that. So what he's going to do, the operator will find the target, the commander will then confirm it. Now, interesting point there, yes, it looks as though it's got the 30mm Radin cannon. It doesn't. That is a dummy gun on the front there. The dummy gun is there to make it harder to spot, because it is a high-value target with what it does, but because we've got all the additional imagery and radar devices in there, there isn't room for the breach in the back, or rather in the turret. In the back, you'll have an additional two members of the Royal Artillery. These are more signals based. We've got man-portable radar systems out there. We've got things that can work out the lay of the land, laser designate things. Only 58 of these were produced, so it really is one of the rarer variants as ever. No expense spared here today, bringing you that. We've probably had the details about Warrior previously, what it was designed for initially, to keep up with the modern tanks. Challenger 1 originally, moving on Challenger 2. Still in service, even the 510s are still in service, and they're still a vital part of how we do our work as armoured soldiers, because they're the only vehicle that can really keep up with us.
And the idea is going to be ultimately the IFV version with the infantry in the back, and that's going to be Boxer in the future, which is on the horizon.
Yeah, again, I've seen them doing some Boxer, very impressive vehicle.
The less chance the enemy have got. Warrior always like telling the story, you know, it's got that welly behind it, get there quick, stop, offload your infantry, get out of trouble. So still are now being used in a recce role as we're getting our new Ajaxes into service, taking over some of the CVRT family. Now, we've got a fantastic collection here of some very interesting vehicles. We're going to let them do a couple of laps, ladies and gentlemen. so that you can see the sort of power they've got. Just before we can't be heard, give them a round of applause. This is your army. These are the people that are going to have